we facing the most revolutionary engine in the recent history of Formula One? Could a simple piece of steel be the key to Ferrari dominating the hybrid era of 2026? Stay, because what Ferrari has just announced will not only change its destiny, it can change the entire F1. When we talk about the Ferrari engine for 2026, we are not talking about a simple technical evolution. We are facing the birth of an engineering work with its own name, Project 678. A name that is already beginning to resonate as a synonym for calculated risk, of rebellion against the unwritten rules of Formula One. This project is not limited to seeking excellence within the known margins, but has been designed from scratch to break them. And the clearest symbol of this rupture is the use of steel cylinder heads. To understand the magnitude of this change, you have to look back. For decades, aluminum has been the undisputed king in the construction of engine heads in Formula One. Its low density and good thermal conductivity made it ideal for a category where every tenth of a second and every gram count. But Ferrari decided to look beyond tradition. What if, instead of focusing on losing weight, you focused on controlling heat? What if they could use a more robust material to allow never-before-seen pressures and temperatures in the combustion chamber? The answer was steel. Much more resistant, capable of withstanding extreme temperatures without deforming, but also denser and heavier. In any other era of F1, that decision would have been immediately scrapped. But in 2026, the context changes completely. The regulations increase the minimum weight of the power unit from 120 to 150 kilograms. That extension, apparently a simple regulatory adjustment, has been the key for Ferrari to activate a completely different vision of what a hybrid engine can be. And this is not an improvised adventure. For months, Maranello engineers worked in parallel with two versions of the engine. A traditional one with aluminum cylinder heads and an experimental one with steel cylinder heads. And they didn't do it alone. They partnered with AVL, a leading Austrian firm in the development of hybrid technology. Together they faced the greatest challenge that steel presents, its durability under thermal stress and sustained pressure. Solving that problem has largely been what has turned Project 678 from a bold idea into a tangible, ready-to-run reality. The result of this work is not only a stronger engine, but a smarter one. Steel, by allowing higher combustion pressures, improves the overall energy efficiency of the system. In a world without MGUH, where thermal energy is no longer recovered from the turbo, every percentage point of efficiency counts. Ferrari has redoubled its bet by focusing on an engine that makes the most of the new balance between combustion and electrical energy. And here comes another crucial piece of information. The MGUK will go from generating 120 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts. Almost triple. This implies that half of the car's power will depend on the electrical system. Therefore, the thermal unit must not only be powerful, it must integrate perfectly with the electrical part. Ferrari knows it. That's why Project 678 is not just about steel. It is an entire ecosystem of innovation. They have developed a new high-density battery, lighter and more compact, with optimized charge and discharge times. They have redesigned the radiators to reduce volume without sacrificing cooling capacity. They have worked on the engine's internal architecture to not only be more efficient, but to allow for more aerodynamic packaging. Every component, every centimeter of the car has been designed to work in synergy with that power unit, and the most impressive thing is the timing. While other teams are still evaluating what configuration they will take to the track in their first physical simulations, Ferrari has already tested Project 678 on a test bench with the final race specification. Not a prototype, not a concept, but the definitive version. This puts them, without exaggeration, months ahead of several of their rivals. It's not just a technical advantage. It is a statement that this time Ferrari does not plan to be late. He doesn't want to adapt to the rules. He wants to be the one who redefines them. Project 678 marks the beginning of a paradigm shift. If it works as expected, it will not just be a triumph for Ferrari. It will be a revolution in Formula One engine design. And in that process, the door opens to a completely different era. An era in which steel, a symbol of weight, hardness, and resistance, could also become a symbol of speed, efficiency, and titles. From the first moment, the engineer's objective was clear. The power unit should not be a component that fits into the car, but rather a tool to unleash the entire aerodynamic potential of the assembly. Under this philosophy, the interaction between the engine, battery, recovery system, and thermal flow of the vehicle has become a single entity. Isolated departments no longer exist. What Ferrari has done is unify criteria under the same design language: comprehensive efficiency. And that's where the SF26 can make a huge difference. One of the key pillars of this new design is the extreme packaging made possible by the compact size of the battery and the new radiators. Ferrari has reduced the total volume of the cooling system without compromising the thermal dissipation capacity, something that would normally be impossible if it were not for the thermal stability offered by steel in the cylinder heads. This thermal efficiency allows the temperature safety margins to be reduced and therefore to shrink the system without fear of critical overheating. That space gain is not trivial. This is what has allowed us to release a more stylized, lower and aerodynamically more effective rear part. This level of integration is not just aesthetic or technical. It has a direct consequence on the track. More load, less drag, and greater energy efficiency. The energy recovered with the 350 kilowatts MGUK is only part of the game. The other part is how you manage that electrical flow so that it works in favor of the car's behavior, especially in acceleration and corner exit phases. Ferrari doesn't want a fast car only on the straight. You want one that has optimal traction, is compliant in slow cornering and stable at high speed. And that is only achieved when each component has been designed to work in sync. Another detail that marks a break with the past is Ferrari's choice to implement pushrod suspension on both axles, something that has not been seen in Maranello since 2010. This choice is not decorative. The pushrod suspension allows you to free up more space at the bottom of the car, better channel the aerodynamic flow towards the diffuser and maintain a lower center of gravity. In the current context, where every millimeter aerodynamic advantage translates into tenths gained, this decision points to a clear intention to maximize the overall efficiency of the package, even at the cost of adopting more complex mechanical solutions that in addition, Ferrari's comprehensive approach has even taken into account aspects such as the cooling of the MGUK, which, operating at almost 3 times the power of its previous version, requires an optimized thermal dissipation system. The active airflow management that Ferrari is integrating with the new rules also comes into play here, designing mobile air inlets that adjust dynamically depending on the point of the circuit, reducing resistance when maximum cooling is not necessary, and increasing the charge when the battery enters intensive regeneration mode. But perhaps the most daring thing about this design is not what it shows, but what it hides. Because if anything has become clear after the first data leaked from the test benches in Maranello, it is that Ferrari has managed to make the engine act not as an isolated power block, but as the heart of a technical ecosystem that breathes, adapts and evolves in each sector of each track. They are not looking to be the fastest in qualifying. They are building a car that can sustain a relentless pace over the entire race distance in any condition on any track. In short, what is at stake here goes far beyond the success or failure of a season. We are witnessing the birth of a new war of concepts, of a technical conflict in which not only championships are disputed, but narrative control over what a modern Formula One car should be. If Project 678 works on the track, it will not only force everyone to imitate it, it will redefine what it means to innovate in a context of increasingly complex restrictions. And in that battle, Ferrari has decided not to wait to see what others do. He has taken the lead. He has opted for audacity. And he has put the rest on the ropes. What happens in the first Grand Prix of 2026 will not be just a race. It will be the most important technical trial of the decade. In a category where everything is measured to the limit, where innovations tend to be silent and gradual, Ferrari has decided to raise its voice. And he has done it in the most forceful way possible. Not with promises, not with speeches, but with a piece of steel. Literally. Because the heart of Project 678 is not just a mechanical component. It is a declaration of rebellion. A warning. A red flag stuck in the center of the future of Formula One. For decades, the mantra was clear. Lighten, simplify, reduce. Ferrari has chosen the opposite path. And he has done so not out of ignorance of the traditional principles of competitive design, but because he has seen beyond. Because he understands that the 2026 rules do not simply require adapting, but rather reinterpreting the very essence of performance. And this reinterpretation has given rise to a new concept of power. A power that is not measured only in horsepower, but in controlled degrees Celsius, in sustained pressure, in structural stability when the entire system comes under stress. What comes from now will be a chain reaction. Every team that analyzes the first data of the Ferrari engine on the track will have to ask itself, how do you compete against something like this? How do you face an opponent who no longer plays by the known rules, but has created a new interpretation of them? Because that's what Ferrari has really achieved. He has not violated the regulations. He has exploited it with a different, bolder, more ambitious technical vision. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this.